I see you are audible.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm just sharing my screen. So today is the first session where we are going to today's session is mostly introduction sessions in the sense a theoretical part where we'll be also learning the JSON structure basics. Okay, so let's understand what is OmniStudio. So what we can do with the OmniStudio. As you're seeing on my screen, let me take a pencil. So OmniStudio provides a suite of services, components, and data model objects that combines to create industry cloud applications. We all know, right? So OmniStudio provides a pre-built applications or pre-built functionalities so that we can use those functionalities and we can configure or we can build our requirements with ease. And in addition to that, what it can do, it can create a guided interactions to the user from your data or from your external sources. For example, I have an external source data. For example, I have a weather API where when I hit that API with the current time and the current area, it will provide me the current weather in that particular area. So I can hit the API via OmniStudio and I can get the data from the API and I can show it on the FlexCard or OmniScripts. And similarly, this is external source. And similarly, I can do same with the Salesforce org. For example, I have a data in account, and for the account, I have data contacts, so parent child, so that I want to fetch account and all the child objects, let's say contacts in our case, and I wanted to show it in the flex card, so that I can do with the Omni Studio. And similarly, when I want to override the button, for example on account there is a button called new, so on clicking on that button I can fill some details, and when I click on save, contact will be created. So if I want to override that button with the OmniScript, so I want to create an OmniScript, so I want to create a button, so on picking on that button OmniScript will be called, and wherein OmniScript is a guided path flow, so uh, we can configure the path as I want, and when user finishes the OmniScript, so it will be saved that data into the database. So theoretically it might be little difficult to understand because right now we are in a stage where we don't know what is OmniScript, what is FlexCard. But when you're trying to build the FlexCard, you will understand what it means. So when I completed the FlexCard topic or OmniStudio topic, I'll try to get back to the slides and I'll try to read it again so that you will get some clarity. So with OmniStudio, what you can do, this one. So OmniStudio means it is combination of lot of components, right? OmniScripts, what is that? Yeah, OmniScripts, data raptors, FlexCards, integration procedures, lot of combinations, right? So OmniScripts which contain interaction logic. OmniScripts can do interaction logic. In detail, when we are discussing OmniScripts topic, we are going to see it. And what is data raptors? As I said earlier, data raptors deals with the data. What data? JSON data. And it can fetch the data from the database, which is Salesforce database, and it can write the data to the Salesforce database, similar to insert and update. And extraction means similar to SQL query. So that is what it's saying. So which transfers and transform the data between Salesforce OmniScripts, FlexCards, integration procedures tools. For example, I want to show some data on the FlexCard. So for that I need to fetch the data. How can I fetch the data? Wherein I can use the data raptor, fetch the data, and transfer that data to the OmniScript or FlexCard so that it will display the data. And again, we are going to see in detail when we are discussing data raptors topics, FlexCards topics, and integration procedures which bundle server side operations. So one of the main advantage of integration procedure is, let's say I want to fetch the data from multiple objects. Let's say I want to fetch the data from contacts, accounts, cases, leads. So at that time I need to use different data raptors. So when I use different data raptors, so I am hitting the server. Let's say I am using three data raptors, I'm hitting the server three times. So when I hit the server 3 times, waste of resources. So in that scenario, I can replace those 3 data raptors with integration, single integration procedure. So the server hittings will be minimal, only one call will happen, so that the resources will be saved. And again, when we are discussing the integration procedure in real time, I'll show how it works. And there is something called flex card, which displays the data and launches the action. So it will display the data on the card, on the flex card. So launch the actions means, so we can create a button, and for that button we can attach different actions. For example, on clicking on that button, it should take me to the contact page. On clicking on that button, the page should be refreshed. So on clicking on that button, it should show some extra information. So on clicking on that button, a flyout should be called. So these kind of things we will be discussing when we are trying to look into FlexCard. So this is a basic level of introduction and components introduction of the OmniStudio. Let me go to the next slide. So how does Salesforce benefit from the OmniStudio? A lot of benefits actually. Uh, so imagine an enterprise with a complicated tech stack, okay, including some homegrown applications. So there are already homegrown applications and a complicated tech stack. So I want to replace with a consolidated platform. So I want to replace with the consolidated platform. Let's say in our case it's Salesforce. Uh, so when I want to replace, there are a lot of UI components. So it requires a lot of time and energy and also money, which is important. It requires a lot of money also, because I need to hire people who know LWC. I want to make them to work to build the different LWC components. So a lot of consultants need to work on that. A lot of developers need to work on that. A lot of testers need to work on that to customize the solution. But when we use OmniStudio, I can replace the functionality easily, as we discussed earlier. So if some component I want to build, if it takes 1 week, same component I can build with OmniStudio less than 1 day. That we will see. So this is one of the main advantage. That's so here you can see that's where Velocity enters. Velocity is nothing but OmniStudio. OmniStudio complements Salesforce with pre-built processes. Since it has some pre-built processes and product models, it will be easy to configure, not to build everything from the scratch. So for example, if I want to uh, show some button on the UI, when you want to write a code, so you need to write the HTML code for the button, and if you want to assign some task to the button, you need to write some JavaScript logic to that button. But in Velocity, everything is pre-built. Just drag the button from the components panel to the canvas and assign a task. Assigning a task means we're in a drop down, select the drop down component. Let's say refresh the page, select that one and finish. That's it, very simple. And that also I will be showing in real time. So this is main important. For this reason, companies goes live faster, so they get their staff trained and may become self-sufficient, avoiding unnecessary costs. So this is also very important, thanks to its user-friendly customization functionality called OmniStudio. So it's very user-friendly. Anyone who can sometime on OmniStudio can understand very easily what is OmniStudio, how it works. Anyone can understand very easily. So that is the main advantage Salesforce is getting from the OmniStudio. Companies go live faster. It requires less time. It saves a lot of money. So these are the some advantages. When we are looking into the real-time components, you will understand it very clearly. So if you are working in any project currently, you can go to setup and click on go to setup in your organizations. If there is OmniStudio installed, go to setup, check the installed package here. So this is the screenshot from the actual project. I removed a few other projects and I blurred the screen. So here you can see Velocity Insurance. If your if your company project is insurance project, you can see something like Velocity Insurance. And again, this is very old project, so you might be seeing it as Velocity. If you are a new project or latestly installed package, you might be seeing it as OmniStudio. So here you can see namespace is Velocity INS, and if you are using some communication org, velocity underscore CMS, so that kind of namespace will be different. So when you use OmniStudio package, you will be seeing it as OmniStudio here, and namespace is OmniStudio. Namespace is very important. We are going to use this namespace when we are developing the flex cards or Omni scripts. So just go to here and you can check whether you have an installed package in your organization or not. And this installed package, they will be installing it from the App Exchange only. But company needs to pay some amount so that that will be accessible so that they can install in their organizations. Once it's installed, uh, OmniStudio team will help to configure everything in the initial days. And in between also, if you are facing any issues with the OmniStudio, or if you facing any requirement issues, so the, for example, I want to build some complicated scenario, whether you wanted to know whether it's possible via OmniStudio or not, you can always reach out to the OmniStudio team by raising some Salesforce ticket or OmniStudio ticket, so they will be helpful. So this is how we need to check the package, and this we are going to see in real time. In day 3 session, we are going to create an personal org, a training org for everyone, uh, so that we can check in that org. So this is how we need to check install package. Let me go to the next screen. So this is OmniStudio architecture. This is completely on the back end, but we want to know what is the backend architecture of the OmniScript. So, so far any questions? Let me ask this. So if I'm going little fast or little slow, you can give feedback to me. Based on that, I'll adjust my speed.
No, you're good, Uttej.
Okay, thank you. So we are in OmniStudio architecture. So it is divided into 3 layers: digital experience, service management, developer experience. So what is digital experience? What is service management? What is developer experience? We will see in detail. Digital experience means something which users see on the UI. So when we build the flex card, user can see it on the UI of the Salesforce. Let's say Salesforce record page. If you open an account page, user can see it on the UI. Maybe at the end of the session, I'll show some examples also. So user can see it on the UI. And similarly, user can see it on the UI and can interact with the OmniScript. So this is digital experience. In short, digital experience means where user can see it, where user can interact with. So this is digital experience. And service management means user cannot see it, only developers can perform logic. So for example, integration procedures, data wrappers, both deals with the data, where they need to fetch the data, they need to transform the data, they need to save the data. User cannot see it, but what is the importance is, so these two acts as data input to flex cards or OmniScripts, or data output to flex cards or OmniScripts. And again, we are going to see in detail in real time the data flow between multiple components. Let's say data wrapper to flex card, data wrapper to OmniScript, integration procedure to OmniScript, integration procedure to flex card. This is the data flow, 4 different kinds of data flow, and vice versa. Vice versa means flex card to data wrapper, OmniScript to data wrapper, flex card to integration procedure, OmniScript to integration procedure. So these are different data flows which exist in OmniStudio. This we are going to see in the real-time sessions when we are trying to build the different components. And developer experience is something which uh, uh, nothing but the deployment management. So what are the tools available for the deployment management, how to deploy, so uh, that kind of theoretical part will be there in the developer experience. Let me go to next slide so that we can see individual layers in detail. So I have a digital experience, right? As I said, digital experience layer includes two primary user interfaces. This is important. User interface is important. Digital experience always refers to the user interface. 1 minute. Yeah, digital experience always deals with the user interface. We have flex cards. As I said, it can display, yeah, contextual information. This is point we need to highlight. Contextual information means, suppose I have placed the flex card in an account so that I need to see different contacts available on the flex card. So when you open one account, it will show contacts related to that account. When you open the other account, it should show contact related to that account only. So there is no hard coding here. Everything will be dynamic here. So that is the contextual information. The information on the flex card we will be seeing. So based on the context only. Context in the sense context ID or the current record ID. We'll see that in future. And similarly omniscripts are the guided path to complete the business process. I think I have some screenshots for this. Yeah, I have shown them in the intro session, right? Anyhow, we are going to create them, but I just like to touch it. Yeah, this is the flex card where user can see the flex card. So this card we will be placing it on the record page of the Salesforce, and where you can see different details, current weather conditions, some buttons. So on clicking on this button, I'm going to launch some combo box or some flyout. So what we are so we can perform multiple actions on the flex card. So this is the sample image of the flex card. Hardly it will take half an hour or 30 minutes, half an hour or 1 hour to build this flex card. So that it easy it is. And this is the OmniScript. As I said, OmniScript is a guided flow. So we can give some input, so it can interact with the user. So based on the input, it will show different screens. So it can show some LWC components. It can hit API call, third-party API call, and it can show some tabular formats data. So there are lot in the where many components in the OmniScripts. So we are going to discuss each component in detail when we are discussing OmniScript topic. So again, OmniScript is a guided path. So this is important. These declarative tools. So these are declarative tools, right? Which provide rich user interaction experience. So that are easily understandable. They build a Salesforce Lightning web components which run inside the Salesforce to improve the UI performance. So what they are saying is whenever I create a flex card, so I will create a flex card without any coding, right? So I can add CSS, I can perform actions by dragging and dropping. So when I activate the flex card, automatically in the backend, that flex card will be converted to LWC component. No need to know LWC code for this. We are not going to deal with that LWC component. It will automatically convert when we activated the flex card, whatever the configuration we have done for the flex card. So it will automatically convert it to LWC component. So we know, right, LWC component will run inside the Salesforce. That is the reason it will improve the UI performance, and it will work as per the current standards of the Salesforce. So no need to know LWC. Zero knowledge with LWC is also fine. So we are not dealing with LWC here. OmniStudio automatically take care. And when you take this flex card and deploy into higher org, let's say some QA or UAT or production, when you activated it there, again it will create LWC component in higher org automatically. Let me go to the next level of the architecture. Service management. As I said, service management deals with the backend data. User cannot see it, but developers need to work on it. So what it will do, it will read the data, write the data. Write the data means write the data to Salesforce. Nothing but it can perform insert, update, batch batch insert, everything it can do. It can transform. It's too early to discuss, we will be seeing in the sessions. So where it can transform one format of the JSON data to other format of the data JSON. Calculate, for example, I have, how to put it, let's say I'm fetching the account details and contact details. So I want to calculate the number of contacts exist under that account. So I can calculate that. I want to put some if condition. So if account industry is some software, so show some logic. So that kind of calculations we can do via formulas. There are a lot of formulas we are going to discuss. For example, two fields are fetching two different datas, some, let's say some numbers, or let's say Date of birth of the user, we are populating on the flex card. So I want to calculate the current age of the user by taking the date of birth. So that operations I can perform within the data wrapper or within the integration procedure. So that also will be seeing. Track the data. Track the data means if user enters some data on the flex card or on the Omni script, so it will track the data automatically. So in general, in LWC, we'll write some track at the rate track, right? So similar kind of thing it will do automatically within and outside of the Salesforce. It will work within and outside of the Salesforce. Outside of the Salesforce means third-party API. That also we are going to see. As I said, data raptors. I'm not going in detail. Data raptors integration procedures or comes under service management. We will going to see in detail when we are going to discuss these topics. Okay, let me go to the next. So this is experience layer. This also user cannot see. We developers, we are going to deal with the experience layer. So this is the architecture again. Experience layer means the application of life cycle of the life cycle of the tools for the developers to manage and move OmniStudio components between environments. So what this architecture layer is saying is, I want to, let's say I have a developer org for in my company, so I can develop my components in my developer org or developer sandbox. So once the configuration is completed, once the testing is completed, and again testing, how to test it we are going to see in upcoming sessions. I didn't included testing in the content course, but we are going to see that after completing the testing, so we are supposed to move to some higher, or let's say some QA or UAT, testing in the sense unit testing I said, uh, QA or higher org. So at that time, what is the architecture for, like, let's say there are already existing versions uh, in the QA. So if you deploy a new version, so whether it replaces the current version or it will create the new version. So that kind of things we will be seeing in the architecture level. And these are the tools available provided by the Salesforce IDX build tool, IDX workbench. But they are not going detail into the tools because companies, different organizations will use different tools for the data migration. Some might use AutoRabbit, some might use anti-migration tool, some might use what we have, we have different tool, right? So based on that, they'll deploy, but we are going to learn the core structure of the deployment process. And there is one more deployment process which is manual deployment for OmniStudio, that also we are going to see in the real time. So this is the architecture. As I said, we have three layers. We have covered everything. Developer layer, we are going to see in real time. For that, I need to have a scenario where I need to create a some component. I need to deploy to the other org. We will see in the upcoming sessions. Yeah, and we have JSON. JSON is very important. You need to know JSON for sure. You need to understand every component in the OmniStudio. This is very easy. Some might of you already know that JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. So you might be dealing with the JSON in your current Salesforce, right? When you want to hit some API, you want to create a wrapper class so that it will form a JSON and you'll hit the API. This is also a similar JSON, but the naming convention is a little different here. And how to access a JSON element, that is also a little different here, but the core concepts remain same. And then again, I'm going to cover from basics. When you deal with any component in the OmniStudio, only JSON is the preferable way. There is XML also, but in Salesforce we will use only JSON, right? So only understandable language for OmniStudio is we can consider it as JSON. So JSON is a first I'll yeah, JSON is a text format for storing the data and transporting the data. For example, I want to say my name is Uttej, so that I want to store that information in the JSON. So I can do that. And transporting the data. Transporting the data means from one system to another system. It can transport the data from one component to another component. Let's say some data raptor to some flex card, it can transport the data. And from OmniScript to LWC component, it can transport the data. From Apex class to some integration procedure, this is called remote action, that we are going to see how to transfer JSON data from Apex class to integration procedure or OmniScript, that we are going to see. So basically it can transport the data with ease. And what are the advantages? JSON is easy for humans to read and write. We can easily read and write, and machines can parse and generate the data easily. And OmniStudio not only consumes the JSON data, it can also generates the data. For example, if user enter any information on the screen, so based on the user entered information, it can also generate the data that we are going to see. So we have examples. Let me go to Notepad. Let's take with basic examples, and we'll go to some advanced topics. Listen carefully. This is very important. If you don't know JSON, you need to understand it uh, to work with other components in future, other OmniStudio components. So let's start with basics. So I want to tell the OmniStudio, let's say system, consider OmniStudio as a system. So I want to tell the system as my name is some X name, some Uttej. So how I can tell that? So I want to create a node name, or let's say my name, colon, let's say some. So this is how we are going to tell. So this is again a same logic. This is a key value pair, but in OmniStudio, the naming convention, this is called as, there are many names. The primary name, this is called as, let me show it here. You can see it here. This is called as, first node is called as node in root or root node. Let's say node. This is the node. This is the value. So, but I'm telling the system, but there is a format. What is the format? You need to always start with the flower braces and with the flower braces. So this is the format. Now I want to tell some more information to the system. So just give a comma here, enter. I want to tell my skills. Skills is, let's say I have only one skill. Let's say which is some LWC. Let's take OmniStudio. I am telling the system that my name is Uttej Vihar, my skills are OmniStudio. So followed by a comma. Comma is separating each element. So this is called as node. This is called as value. This is called as node. This is called as value. Right? This we are going to highlight with the double quotes. So this is the actual format. And if I want to tell one more one more node, let's take some uh, uh, what node I can take. Maybe some true or false node, right? Let's take nodes LWC, some random node I'm taking. Whether I'm knowing LWC means whether I need to give true or false, right? So let's say I'm giving true or false. So true or false, true is a boolean, right? So for boolean, we don't give double quotes. So for boolean, true or false will go directly, true or false. Let's say true. And if I want to pass some more information, uh, but I don't have that skill. For example, knows no C++. So I don't know that, right? So false. And or if I didn't fill the data, it can go like null also. This is null data, or we can replace this one with null null. Null null will not be a string. In the backend, it will consider null as null only. So no data only. Right? We are going to take some examples. Let's remove this one. Let's say what if I have multiple skills? I have few more skills. So skill is a node, right? Currently, it is taking only one value. What if I have multiple skills means I need to add an array. You know array, right? Array will take multiple datas. Okay, OmniStudio, comma, some LWC, comma, some Salesforce. So in this scenario, this is node, this is also node, but this node is in which format? This node is in array format. How to recognize it is an array or not? So seeing the by seeing the square braces. For example, if I want to access this name, how to access this name? I want to call this one my name. There is some format based on the, for example, when you are calling this name in the Omni script, you need to append with percentages. When you write like this, so it will be calling this name. But what if I want to call skills? I can call skills like this. So when I call my skills like this in the Omni script, and again this might be confusing, we are too early to discuss. I'm going to show it again when we are discussing Omni scripts. But just understand, when I call skills, what will I get in return? In return, I'll get array. But I want only this one. Only should I want this one. So in this scenario, what I'll do is I'll just give a bar. This is the bar symbol which is above the enter. Shift plus that symbol, just above the enter, you might be seeing on your keyboard, right? On the enter there is a symbol, shift plus that symbol, so that will create the bar. So bar 1. So skills bar 1 means it will be accessing OmniStudio. Skills bar 2 means it will be accessing LWC. Skills bar 3 means it will be accessing SFDC. So this is in our context, this is not so generally the first element we will represent with 0, right? But here we are not going to do that. The first element always we represented with 1 only. This is the certification question and interview question also. So to access the first element in the array, how can we access? So it's bar 1, array node plus bar 1. Just remember that one. And we have some more examples. I just already created a data for that one. So in our real time orgs, we might be dealing with large amount of JSON data, right? So for that we are going to use a tool called JSON Editor. You can just search JSON Editor. Maybe I can post this link in the chat also. You can refer this link in later point of time. There are many websites, but this UI looks good. Just prefer this one. So I have already prepared the JSON data. Just paste it. So here you can see name is John, age is some 30 years, date of joining is null is nothing but it's not a string, it is an empty data, and he is a developer or not. Is developer means true, right? So if I want to see in some formatting, you can click this symbol. So you can automatically adjust the formatting for you so that it will be easy to read. So here name is John, age 30, date of joining is none, is developer is true. And remember, we always starting with and ending with the flower braces. If you remove one flower braces, it will throw an error. And always I can auto repair it. When I click on auto repair, it will automatically repair it for me. So this is important. So this is how you need to do. And you can also look this one in the tree format. Just click on tree format where you can expand each node. So I have 4 properties. Just expand it. What are the properties? I can see it here. And let's take one more example. Okay. So let's take one more example here. See, this is array. I'm having an array where array consists of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All days it has. When I look it in tree format, 7 items, 0th node, first node, second node, third node, fourth node, fifth node. Okay, but in for this array, how to recognize that array? This array doesn't have any name, right? This array doesn't have any name. So I want to give this array a name. How can I do that? Just go here, take double quotes, uh, all days, all days in a week, any random name you can give. give colon, and always we know, right, JSON structure will always start with flower braces and ends with flower braces. Previously it is an array, so no problem. Now just give flower braces at the starting, at the ending. So this is, now I have a node created for this array, so this is called an array node. So when I want to represent this array, I can use this node all days in a week. Okay, and remember one very important thing, JSON is case sensitive, unlike Apex. So for example, I'm using all days in a week here, but when I want to access in OmniScript, so if you take name like small I, it will throw an error in the real time. Always try to copy from the JSON node and use it wherever you want. If there is a case sensitive, it will throw an error, and if you are working with some I or L, so you need to spend a lot of time in debugging. Sometimes you'll not recognize it. So always copy paste, use copy paste, not type manually. So this is how we'll give a node to that. So let's take one more example. Yeah, let's take this example. Let's take this example. So this is an array. This is an array which consists of, consider this as a record. In the array, consider this as a record. This is record 1. This is record 2. What record is this? Just by looking at this, these are the account details. I'm fetching account number, description, name. So this array consists of two records, record 1, record 2. So I want to give some name to this array. Just give name like account details. Start with flower braces, end with flower braces, make some formatting. Now see, account details array consists of two records. How to read it I am telling. Account details array consists of two records, record 1, record 2. So what each record is fetching? Each record is fetching name, description, account number. Spaces also can go here, no problem. So account to details consist of two records. So in this scenario, account to details is considered as, we know it is a node, but in this scenario, it is a parent node or root node. So because there are some child nodes also. So in this scenario, it will be considered as a root node. Root node means the first node. First node in this line, this is the line, right? This is the first node. So parents for this records, right? So we can consider it as parent node or a root node. Let me take one more example. I have one more example here. And this is employees. I'm getting employees details. So this is a parent node or root node where I am having different records. Similarly, now I'll write manually. I want to create a JSON. Generally, we will create the JSON via data wrapper only. It will automatically create the JSON. Why I'm trying to show is so that you can understand. So let's say I'm creating the JSON manually. So where I want to show some information, where I want to show account details and under that contact details. So first I want to show account detail, right? Let's take only one account. Okay, account details. Account details. So this is account details node I am creating. So under that account detail, let's say I have only one account only. So if you have only one account, don't go with array, go with flower braces. Just give what are the account details. Name is some Tesla. This is the name of the account, and number of employees is some, let's say 56,000. This is a number, so I'm not highlighting with the double quotes. Just give a comma, and let's enter. I think two nodes are fine. It's throwing error because I didn't started with and ended with flower braces. Okay, so under this account I have contact. Okay, how we can take contact. Let's say two contacts, just comma, create a node, related contacts, related contacts, colon, contacts, there are multiple contacts, right? So that I am taking array format. So in the array, let's say I have two contacts. Two contacts is nothing but two records. So each record is represented with, as I said earlier, flower braces. Name of contact, let's say some XYZ name, double quotes. Let me take some phone, double quotes, some random number. So let's say I have two contacts, right? Copy this, give a comma here, paste it. This is PQR contact. Let's say it has different number. Now understand. Now understand that I'll take the tree format. I'll compress everything. Let's say in the root node, I have a node called account details, which consists of three properties. When I expand this, I'm seeing the properties. What are the properties? Name of the account details name, account details, number of employees. And there is one more property which is a child node for the account details. When I click on this, under the related contacts, under this account I'm having related contacts. Under this account, I'm having two contacts. What are the contacts? Let's expand. There are two contacts. Let's first one and second one. Each contact has two properties. Just expand. First contact is name XYZ. Second contact's name is PQR. So this is how we need to read the JSON structure. So far, any questions? Okay. Yeah, someone came from the new mute and go
Hi,
ahead.
Sridevi here. Well, since this is kind of for programming, does it also involve in conditions and like any other programming language, conditions, loops?
Condition that is not related to programming language. For example, I just want to rephrase your question. Just let's say it's correct or not. So, for example, I have a JSON data here. So you
Mhm.
want to populate the JSON data based on the condition. That is what your question.
Yeah, if condition and all the types of conditions, does it also have in JSON?
In JSON, this is the actual JSON format, but you want to use conditions in the JSON format. It will support, but not directly here. When you are working with data raptors or integration procedures, let's
Mm-hmm.
say I'll take an example. Let's say if number of employees is more than 1000, I want to create a node automatically so that it is a big account. If number of employees is less than 1000, it want to create a node as small account. So that kind of conditional based rendering I can do, and I can loop over this array also in the integration procedure.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
other languages we will not use. We will always deals with JSON only. XML also will support from OmniStudio, but in Salesforce we'll always use, and the OmniStudio recommended way is also using JSON only. And for this JSON, by using some data raptor transforms, I can transform this data. For example, I want to change the node, I want to restructure the node, I want to loop over the data, I want to fetch the data based on the condition, I want to create the data based on the condition. So that all I can do with the OmniStudio provided tools like data raptors and integration procedures.
Okay. Well, I got the point that JSON is the only language which
Exactly.
OmniStudio supports.
Hmm.
But I want to understand in depth about JSON. How is it like? Like in Java or in Apex, we have object creation, class creation, and for loops and all
Mhm.
these are there. Does JSON also have here like that?
No, no, no. You need to understand JSON is not a programming language. You're
Okay.
talking about programming language, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, JSON is not a programming language. Maybe if you're interested, I'll try to show create one flex card tomorrow, because
Mm-hmm.
I know that is not in plan. But for your understanding, I'll try to create a flex card or some Omni script just to show you people so that you can understand how it will consume the data JSON. So
Exactly.
whatever I have shown here, except this, there is nothing. No need to know any programming language.
Mhm.
Whatever I have shown here, I have covered from basics to advanced level of JSON structure, which we are going to use in OmniStudio.
Okay.
This is more than enough. You will understand when I am dealing with flex cards or OmniScripts.
Great. So my only intention to ask this question is how much intense code is we are going to write in JSON. That's the only point.
No,
But
no,
otherwise, if this is the way what we write in JSON is, then it is. I think it is quite and pretty simple to handle.
no. As I said, we are not going to write the JSON. I have written the JSON because so that you will understand the format of the JSON. We have a tool data raptor automatically generate the JSON.
Oh.
Since you are getting lot of doubts, let
Mm.
me quickly show one data raptor. Okay.
Okay.
And again, this is planned for tomorrow, and just I'm showing this to clear
Yes,
doubts.
because that would be little, clear. Like the
I
perception
know,
right now is like we have to write JSON and follow all this format or what. So
I
if you
know,
can
I know.
just show exactly how it gets generated by itself, then it will be more clear.
Just I'm trying to create it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow we'll see in detail, but just to show
Yeah,
you, I'm trying to
just a
create
glimpse
it.
of it will work. So that will.
Yeah, I know. So I have configured the data raptor. Okay, right now data raptor, as I said, it will extract the data from the Salesforce. What
Mm-hmm.
I'm extracting from the account
Okay.
where I'm giving some limit, so it will extract any some random 5 records. Okay,
Mm.
so I have configured in the output. It should extract active field, account source field, account number field, annual revenue field. Okay,
Okay.
okay. When I click on preview here, let
Mm-hmm.
me check my charger. Okay, so when I click on execute here, you can see here. So it got automatically generated JSON for me, right? I'll just
That's
copy here,
yeah.
copy here. Whatever I have shown, you can understand, right? For understanding purpose, I have
Yeah.
shown. Now if you see here, I'm just showing in tree format. So what? How many records? Where is that? How many records I fetched here? 5 records, right? So here the records are 5, and I didn't given any name of name to represent this array.
Yes.
We'll see that today, tomorrow. So
Mm-hmm.
the first record, when I expand the first record, so I'm getting account details, account number, active, account revenue, account source value is not there. That's why it's showing null.
Mm-hmm.
So when I click on here, it will show some more data. When I click on here, it will show some more data. So this is how we will generate the JSON
Mm-hmm.
automatically by taking the data raptor extract. So
Okay.
this data raptor JSON we are going to use in OmniScripts or Flex cards. The reason we are discussing JSON is this is a simple data, but there is some JSON data which is in multi-step. That
Mm-hmm.
means the parent node combinations, a different paths will be there, so that you can understand by knowing what is what you can understand. By right now, since we already know JSON, by looking at this, we can understand very simply like it is
Mm-hmm.
in array format, square braces array format, which consists of one, two,
Hi.
three, 4, 5 records. If I want to fetch account ID also, where I can go to output, just click add, uh, fetching ID here, just fetch ID. When I click on preview, right? When I click on preview, I'm just getting a account ID which is fetching from the Salesforce record base. I'm just
Okay.
copying the ID. Let's check whether this ID existing on the Salesforce record base, right?
Okay.
I'm just pasting the ID here. Otherwise, let me take limit one only. I'm just copying this ID. I'm pasting it here. So we have an account which is called Edge Communications, right? Here it's fetched. It's not fetching name, right? Okay, let's say it is active, right?
Yeah.
It is active. I'll change it to no.
Mm-hmm.
I click on save. When I click on execute, right now it's S, right? When I click
Mm-hmm.
on execute, it become no. So that means it will automatically fetch the live data
Mm-hmm.
from the Salesforce database, and it will create the JSON for you.
So it's very dynamic in nature.
Yes, that is the beauty of the OmniStudio. No need to write anything. JSON also you no need to write. It will
Mhm.
automatically do it for you,
Okay.
right? That we are going to see in upcoming sessions, right?
Yeah.
Now I think you got answer for your
Yeah.
question.
Very much clear. Very much clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so
Any
much.
questions?
Yeah,
Any
I'm good for
questions?
now.
No, for the others. Okay. Just I want to tell one more thing. Just will go back here. JSON is case sensitive. I have said. I want to tell one more thing. Let's say I want to create. I have this one only. Just let me take a new tab. So I have these records. I have these records, right? Just give me one format. So employees consist of an array which having one, two, three records. Let's say now this node is details of employees in company. So this is the node I have given details of employees in the company. It's for any developer who is going to work the data after you are going to develop. You already developed. If in future if anyone is going to work, it's hard to recognize details of employees in company because everything is combined here. I don't see some spacing between the words. But to overcome that, always it's recommended way, it's recommended, not a rule. You can give any name, but recommended way is, Camel case or Pascal case. Let me show Camel case versus Pascal case. Take some images and let's take this only. So if you see here, Camel case is nothing but every second word letter will starts with capital letter. I'll show it here. So this is the node. I want to write this node in the Camel case. Camel case, right? How to write? Details of is the second word, capital. E is the second word, capital. I is the second word, capital. C is the second word, capital. So I have written my node in the camel case. So rather than writing like this, always write in the camel case so that it's easy to read. When there is a lengthy node, always write in the camel case. And there is something called Pascal case. Case is nothing but every word letter will starts with capital only. So here in our case, D also capital. So whichever the way you are comfortable, take the notes as per Camel case or as per the Pascal case, but don't write it clumsy. So it's hard to read when we have a big node with lot of words. So this is not mandatory, but it's a best practice. And when you are trying to fetch the fields from the Salesforce, you can give any name, but the best practice is give the API name only. That we are going to see tomorrow. So what we are going to see tomorrow, which is day two now we understand the basics of uh, OmniStudio. We are going to see what are data raptors, what are data raptors. We will understand there are four types of data raptors. We will understand theoretically each one, and practically tomorrow we will start with extract data raptors. Extract DR means data raptors. Extract data raptors in detail we will see there are a lot of configurations in data raptor. It looks simple, but there are a lot of configurations we can do via data raptors. Let's say formulas, transformation of values, restructuring the JSON node. So a lot of values that we are going to see basics of data raptor extracts tomorrow. And in day three here basics, right? In day three, in day three we are going to see advanced topics of data raptor extract, and also we are going to create a training org in the session so that you can practice in offline. When you have time you can practice. I'm going to give some JSON structure. You are going to replicate that JSON structure via data raptor. So that kind of tasks we will be seeing in next 2 days. So this is very important. Data raptors, I want to spend more time in the data raptors because data raptors can be used in integration procedures, can be used in flex cards, can be used in OmniScripts. So this is very important. Every time you will be seeing data raptors, and interview wise also there will be a lot of questions on data raptors. So I would like to spend more time. Maybe we'll spend some 5 days on the data raptors. I mean all data raptors, not only one data raptor. As let me open the course content. Otherwise, not this one. Yeah, this one. Overview, you are gonna see different types of data raptors, how to use formulas, and there are a lot of formulas. How to use different formulas in the data raptors, and I'm gonna give documentation on formulas on day three session. Security means nothing but the field level security, best practices, debugging. And from today's session, we have seen Salesforce with OmniStudio, futures, what is OmniStudio, targeted industries. Anyhow, we are covered uh, in the intro session, but I want to revisit. When we complete the session, you'll understand so what is what, then I can revisit this OmniStudio architecture. We have seen uh, certification also, we are going to see JSON structure. I have completed OmniStudio components. We have seen naming conventions. There are some naming conventions. um, Yeah, this one. So when you create an Omni script, when you create a data raptor, when you create an integration procedure, when you create a flex card, so what kind of name you should give? What is the Omni Studio recommended way, so that you won't mess up your current organization components? So that is, I know you have planned in day one session only, but I'm going to cover each and every naming convention, and we have one topic pending, right? Salesforce certification. That also I will be covering in later point, because once you understand every topic, so when I talk about flex cards, you will be understanding what are the different questions we will be asking on the certification level. I have some model question papers also that we are going to discuss when we complete the each topic individually. So I can wrap it up the session for today's. Before wrap it up, we can take any questions if you have. Otherwise, we can meet tomorrow. Okay, I'll take it as a no. From the day three session, Institute is going to create VLR Institute is going to create a WhatsApp group, and if you have any questions, you can ask there.
Oh, well, Uttej, I have few questions.
Okay.
Yeah, it's regarding approaching or switching to OmniStudio from Salesforce. Can a fresher take up OmniStudio course and get a job?
Oh, so you don't have any experience,
No,
Salesforce experience?
I do have experience, but I'm talking about someone who is very fresher, or who is going to join newly. Can they take up OmniStudio and
One point. Fresher means only for Salesforce or to the career?
to the career?
I'll take this question. So to the career means, what I recommend is, when you are starting the career freshly, always
Mm-hmm.
starts with Salesforce. Learn Salesforce. OmniStudio will also added plus point, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but complete the OmniStudio course when you already know OmniStudio admin.
Okay.
The preference is, first you need to know admin, then OmniStudio. If already you know admin, then you
Mm-hmm.
can always go ahead and learn this course. You will get opportunities, because there are some companies who will look for OmniStudio developers, only OmniStudio developers, since their
Mm-hmm.
projects is based on OmniStudio only. But
Mm-hmm.
my recommendation is, when you know admin, then only take this course, because that is the priority. Admin, Salesforce admin is the priority.
Okay, so I'll take it as like this. So for doing a job in OmniStudio, You need the only prerequisite is admin, Salesforce admin.
Admin, technically no need to know, but when you talk about the interview perspective, you need
Mm-hmm.
to know. Technically, even if you know, if you don't know admin completely,
Mm-hmm.
you no need to know how to create object,
Hmm.
not creating, but what is field, what is object,
Okay. Yeah.
accounts is under
Basic
context,
concept.
that kind of information, you need to know. But technically you can learn, but my recommended way is for interviews also they'll check admin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always complete the admin. If you are good with admin only,
Okay.
then learn this.
You need to
I'm
learn.
talking about interview perspective. Go ahead.
Yeah. So no need to learn Apex coding or or LWC.
No, no. The
Okay.
reason we are so, since many of us here are Salesforce developers only. So we are
Mm-hmm.
seeing many people in the session, right? Or Salesforce developers only.
Mm-hmm.
So they are coming here to learn OmniStudio. Why they are learning OmniStudio? Many companies are replacing LWC with OmniStudio. So there
Okay.
is no point in learning LWC. We need to know LWC in only very odd cases where we have some unique set of requirement where
Mm-hmm.
we cannot do that requirement via OmniStudio. At that time, we will extend our component with LWC, not replacing. We will extend our component, and again that will be a rare case.
Okay. And if in case if we need some assistance, can we approach the developers who are working on LWC and take the help and complete the task in OmniStudio? As you said, it's if very rare cases and for some few complex components.
You know that won't be happen. OmniStudio developers individually can do that. And if you have any questions related to your personal career growth,
Mm-hmm.
we can take it offline. No, just contact the institute. They'll help me to connect with me. So just prefer, in this session there are a lot of people. No? We will take general questions only.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Can we deploy flex cards and OmniScripts via Copado? Copado, I didn't work with. Just Google it, or just if you are in your company, if you're working with Copado, just contact DevOps and let's ask like Copado supports OmniScripts or not, OmniStudio or not. But as per my knowledge, any tool which is used as deployment process, any tool will be supported for the deployment of OmniStudio. What we need to do is just you need to enable it. So many of the companies we have DevOps team for deployment, right? Yeah, just deployment process they'll handle. Just ask them, but I'm 99% sure it will happen. It will happen via Copado or some anti-migration tool or some auto rabbit, any tool it should support.
Uttej,
Yes, Arjun.
yeah, myself Arjun. So I
Uh,
have external certification Salesforce admin as well as PD1. So I'm working one of the MNC. Can I learn Omni Studios? So I have 4 years of Salesforce experience.
did you join yesterday's demo?
So I joined lately.
Lately, I have covered that. So your question is, for your question. Let me open yesterday's intro demo. Yeah, see here. You're seeing my screen. Can
Not
you? Not at all. Okay, let me share my screen again. Let me know if you are able to see my screen.
yes, not visible.
So when you are learning Omni Studio, so you will be getting additionally two career paths. One is Omni Studio developer and one is Omni Studio consultant. Since you are a developer, so our interest is on Omni Studio developer. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's talk about Omni Studio developer. Let's say I or you already a developer, Salesforce developer, right?
Correct.
So there are many companies who are hiring OmniStudio developers alone or Salesforce plus OmniStudio developers. Who knows? For suppose I'm working in an organization where they are preferring who knows OmniStudio development, who knows Salesforce development, right? Because in our organization OmniStudio is used, and that person should be knowing Salesforce also. So we know, right? As we are in IT industry, we always need to upgrade. We need to know multiple skills to survive in the industry. And this is not an OmniStudio is not an optional course, and every company is trying to replace LWC when there is a chance LWC with OmniStudio, because it will save a lot of time
If
time
we
to
are
the
working in
organization.
if we are working in service-based company, we need to
Mhm.
learn full language. It depends upon the project.
Can you repeat it?
So we are working service-based company.
Okay.
So we are learning multiple languages. It depends on the
No, no,
project.
this is not multiple language, right? This is not outside of the Salesforce, right? Within the Salesforce. So what my suggestion is, if you learn OmniStudio development, the chances of hiring is very high. You can go to some Naukri or some LinkedIn, just search OmniStudio or Velocity. You will be seeing a lot of jobs. Some companies are preferring OmniStudio developer. Some companies are preferring Salesforce developer. So that the point I'm trying to make is, the market exposure is more, chances of hiring is more. When there is a competition, the chances of picking you is more. You might be, you can getting the pay is more. There are a lot of options nowadays. If you go any big project to the any company, uh, there is a good number of chance OmniStudio is using.
Okay.
So you can always be a Salesforce developer and OmniStudio developer combined. You can see some people's bio in LinkedIn where they're writing it as Salesforce and OmniStudio developer with
Mm.
5 years of experience. So that kind of bio you'll be seeing in
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
but in my organization, I don't have scope to learn LWC.
No, don't learn. Why LWC when we have OmniStudio? Just learn it and switch the project where we are having OmniStudio.
Okay.
Yeah. No need to learn LWC. That is the point we are taking the course of OmniStudio, right?
Okay.
If you don't know OmniStudio, if you hate coding, learn OmniStudio, and companies and Salesforce also recommend in the same way. Yesterday I have seen some articles. I've shown some articles. You can just refer to the yesterday's demo. You'll get some idea. And if you
Mhm.
have any some project specific questions or your
Mhm.
personal questions based on your career, you can reach out to me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Great. Great. Thank you.
yeah. Can people with different domain experience also learn OmniStudio, even with new IT? As I said earlier, so you have experience but in different domain. Okay. Uh, the recommended ways you can learn OmniStudio, but the recommended ways you need to learn Salesforce admin part first. You can learn OmniStudio without having that knowledge also, but we are learning the OmniStudio to switch the company. Otherwise, there is no point in learning, right? To switch the company, or if your current project has OmniStudio to get the more hike, or if you hate coding, you can become an OmniStudio developer. So that kind of approach you can follow. But when you don't have experience, or when you don't know Salesforce admin, especially, I'll recommend just complete that. If you wish to complete Salesforce admin separately, you can take this course. And when you're trying to give the interview, uh, say I know Salesforce admin and OmniStudio development, then it will work. Then it will work. Without knowing Salesforce admin, I would not recommend. Salesforce admin plus OmniStudio, it will work, and there is a lot of chances of hiring.
So can you cover this admin topics as well in OmniStudio, or we need to
No.
learn separately admin
No,
before?
no, 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 no. Admin, we are not covering.
Mhm.
Our primary motto of this session is, whoever having the knowledge on the Salesforce, they want to improve their skills. So that is the reason we have came up with the Omni Studio. Since companies are also hiring a lot, but as I said, I'm not covering admin part. If you don't have knowledge on admin, don't take this session. I'm just clear. So that will not work when you don't have admin part. When you go to interview and just say I'm no OmniStudio development, that will not work. Even if you hire also, you need to do admin part. Admin part basically takes 15 to 20 days hardly. Just I'm telling you openly, that is the recommended way.
Mhm. Okay.
I know you have some specific set of unique questions. We can talk so that I can guide you in the career.
Okay. Thank you.
Bhaskar. You can call me Uttej, Bhaskar. So if you don't have any questions, we can meet tomorrow.
Uttej, so data raptors, flex card, OmniScripts, and integration procedure. These four are like core, we can say.
Core concepts, whatever the industry you are placed in, you will be always working with this only. There is no industry where we are not using data raptor. Every industry, 100% of the times, always we will use these core components only. Got it right?
Yeah, got it. Thank
So
you.
based on industry specific, one component or two components might increase, but these are the core components. and and some industries having only these core components only. They'll not have extended components. More than 60% of the industries or 70% of the industries having core components only. Other industries might have one component extra, like order management kind of stuff. And
Okay.
that also we are not sure whether your project is going to use that is based on the project based.
For certification, these will sufficient.
Only these are sufficient. Let me open Trailhead. Again, this I'm opening the Trailhead, opening the certifications, setting it as developer, OmniStudio developer. You can see for the certifications I'm taking the exam guide. For certifications and for interview also, these are more than efficient. More than, see, flex cards, OmniScripts, integration procedures, data raptors, expression sets and decision matrices, integrated troubleshooting and deployment, everything I'm covering.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Then we'll meet tomorrow. Just join the session tomorrow also. You will understand how we will use data raptors, and maybe I'll show example of one flex card tomorrow. Uh, okay. If you have any questions, just reach out to VLR Institute. And then from the third day, we'll be having a WhatsApp group. We can always communicate, or you can always talk to me. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tej.